Good afternoon, respected Dr. Sridevi, Director CSIR CFTRI, very distinguished guests on the dais, very distinguished participants in this global conclave. It is indeed, I am very happy and proud to speak in honor and memory of my mentor and guide, Sri L.R. Kandhari. Before I speak, I would like to thank the organizers, Wheat Products Promotion Society, particularly Ajay Goyalji and Raj Kapoor and all the team, WPPS, for having given me this opportunity to speak in memory of a great person connected with baking industry, Sri L.R. Kandhari. I think we are going to have a short video about Mr. Kandhari and his mission, but let me say a few words. Mr. Kandhari was one of the earliest graduates in baking science and technology from the American Institute of Baking, whereafter he came back to India to help develop wheat-based applications and promoted wheat food products aggressively through an organization called US Wheat Associates. He was with the US Wheats for about 30 to 35 years and devoted all his time to help promote wheat as an alternate dietary staple, particularly in non-wheat eating areas like the southern states and the eastern states of India. In those days, in 1950s and 60s, wheat was very rare in these states. It was not a part of our diet, but the vigorous promotions that were taken up by Mr. Kandhari really brought in a great transition in our dietary pattern and made wheat as a component of our food basket as an additional staple food for the people. Several seminars, exhibitions, conferences, workshops, demonstrations have been conducted under the leadership of Mr. Kandhari in all over the country, especially with a focus on the southern states and the eastern states where wheat was not an established staple food. As a result of this vigorous promotion done by the wheat associates, the consumption of bakery products and other wheat products have risen very significantly in these states. And today, we will be surprised in a predominantly rice-eating state like Kerala. Per capita consumption of bread is highest in the country. This is all due to the promotional efforts done for promoting wheat as a part of our diet by wheat associates, as well as by the efforts done by the Government of India in setting up a chain of bakery units across the country to promote wheat consumption, particularly in rice-eating areas. There is a reason for promoting wheat because we were food deficit at that time. We didn't have green revolution and food surpluses at that time. And rice availability is very restricted, and government had no choice except to promote wheat as an alternate staple food for us. And it was an extremely successful experiment. And the chain of bakeries that were set up to promote wheat consumption were extremely successful. And even today, they continue to conduct this role of promoting wheat and wheat products in all these states through a brand called Modern Bread, with which we are all familiar. Mr. Kandhari spent 30 to 40 years spearheading the movement for promoting wheat and helped establish a number of baking schools to promote the human resources, capable human resources for the industry. He was instrumental in setting up a baking school at Anand and also at several other places, and led this movement on a continuous basis to promote wheat consumption across the country. He also played a very significant role in developing capable human resources for the ongoing developing bakery products industry in the country, and helped the technical executives in organized and semi-organized industries to study at the American Institute of Baking to get advanced knowledge in baking science and technology for the benefit of the Indian industry. Several of us, including me, I'm a beneficiary of this program of Wheat Associates, having had my training at the American Institute of Baking at that time in Chicago. So many accomplishments to be cited about Mr. Kandhari's mission to promote wheat consumption across the country, and it is now more than fulfilled, and wheat has become a part of our diet. In fact, it is the #2 cereal consumption in the country today. With these few words, I think we will have a video show on Mr. Kandhari's mission in wheat promotion. Are we having the video? No, video है ना? Okay. No, this is power. Okay, there. इसको बंद कर देगा, बहुत बेकार. We'll show the video first. I think this is a slideshow, not a video, but this will give a glimpse of what Mr. Kandhari's contribution is to the promotion of wheat in this country. PPT. So we have seen what an amount of work was done by Mr. Kandhari at various forums in promoting wheat to the position that we are now today. It is my honor and privilege to speak a little more about the subject that is closest to his heart, and that is, he has done a lot in developing the bakery industry. Now after him, what is our future, next steps in developing the bakery industry? So I will speak on the future trends of bakery industry in India. We know that bakery industry, one of the largest segments in food processing sector in India. In fact, it is the largest segment. And we are the second largest producers of biscuits after USA. But we are the largest consumers, though we are the second largest producers. We are the largest consumers of biscuits in the world. And we have about 2,000 organized and semi-organized bakeries in the organized sector, and about more than 1 million small and tiny units, small and medium sector units engaged in baking operations. And the total production currently is about 3 million tons in both organized and small sector put together. It's offering huge opportunities for future growth and lot of scope for innovation. Already the large players are doing innovation regularly to come out with new concepts and new products suitable for the consumers to meet the consumer requirements, emerging consumer requirements. If we look at the future of bakery industry as forecasted by several market research studies, in 2022, it was about $11.2 billion size industry. It is poised to grow by 2028 in another 4 years, almost double to $20 billion US dollar business. And by 2032, we will be 25 billion US dollar business. That is the size of the baking industry in future. And we are already in that direction, growing in that direction, and I'm sure these forecasted figures will come true. The change in consumption patterns is taking place. Consumers' perceptions are changing, and the requirements of processed food, of different types of processed food, including bakery products, is changing constantly. And the industry is gearing up to meet the consumer aspirations on a continuous basis so that the industry continues to grow and attain the status that it has got today. Going back to the developing stage of the bakery industry, the period from 1965 to 1975 is what I would like to call it as the grand period of growth for the industry. That was the time when we were transiting from street corner bakeries selling bread across the counter to organized bakeries coming with a distribution and retailing network to service the customers across the cities and towns. And that is where accelerated growth was taking place during that period, and therefore I say it is a grand period of growth. And during this period, Government of India has set up a chain of bakeries across the country in different states to make wheat consumption popular in a form that is acceptable to the people. Bread was recognized and conceived as a convenient food product by the people in those days. Later on, it graduated to a product that is not merely convenient, but also nutritionally superior. And it became part of the breakfast items, as well as got placed into the lunch boxes of school-going children, as well as the office-going public. So that elevation of the status of bread from just a sick man's diet to a convenience product and to a nutritious product, healthy product, to become a part of our regular diet. That period of 1965 to 75 played a very critical role. As a part of this mission, in setting up bakeries in non-wheat areas, the consumption of wheat rose in geometric progression in those states. And wheat has come to be regarded as an essential commodity. And today, in a state like Tamil Nadu or Kerala, which are dedicated rice-eating states, per capita consumption of bread is the highest. You can imagine the impact that was created by promotional efforts of US Wheat Associates, as well as the modern public sector baking company, the modern food industries across the country. The onset of 21st century, the consumer perceptions have undergone further change, and today they are not just looking for nutritious or fortified bread, but bread that has got health benefits, bread that is good for health. Some people perceive that gluten-free bread is more healthy than the total wheat bread. Is a misconception. I won't go into discussion of that at this stage, but let me tell you there is a market for gluten-free products for whatever it is, and it is growing slowly. Also, value-added products with high value delivery, nutritional value delivery, like vitamin-fortified products, like products with higher protein fortification, products which are formulated to contain immunonutrients to afford immunity benefits, particularly after the corona. This sector is slowly coming up and becoming popular. Today, the consumer looks for health and wellness when he buys a processed food like bread. The days that bread was bought for convenience sake or for as a staple, we have graduated from that and come to a stage where it is reckoned as what it can do in terms of health and wellness to me and my family. That is the driving force with which the market is now focused with. So this is the emerging trends: nutrition, health benefits beyond the basic nutrition, and technology upgradation. As we are creating new plants, new capacities, the existing plants and equipment also are undergoing a drastic upgradation in technology to catch up with the quality aspirations of the people, as well as to improve the operational efficiencies of the baking units. And I will also speak for a few minutes on sustainability in relation to baking industry. Sustainability is a term that is more often spoken and written about, but very less in action. That is the single most important criteria for development, future development of any industry, particularly bakery industry as well. The consumer preference for products containing high protein, high fortification with essential vitamins and minerals, health benefits beyond basic nutrition, prebiotics in bakery products, and a new term that has come into existence now is postbiotics. I will briefly explain that. But immunonutrition is also coming in a big way in association with bakery products. So these are few examples of fortified bakery products, particularly bread, 100% whole wheat bread, and the modern white sandwich bread. This is fortified with vitamin A, vitamin B1, B2, niacin, and calcium. In earlier days, we were also fortifying with iron in recognition of the fact that iron was a limiting mineral in our daily diets, particularly for women. But calcium fortification, particularly with whole wheat products, is meaningful because the higher the extraction rate, the more the incorporation of bran into the product, the higher will be the binding of calcium and iron in our bioavailability. Because the higher levels of bran containing phytates, they bind calcium and iron and make them reasonably unavailable. And therefore, calcium fortification is an important step in ensuring better health for the people, particularly in products containing multigrain type of products or products containing higher proportion of bran like whole wheat breads. Protein fortification of bread is another area that is catching up, because we all know wheat is a great cereal containing 10 to 12% of protein. But when it comes to bread, we have only about 7 to 8% protein, and other bakery products also contain relatively low quantity of protein. To ensure adequate protein delivery, companies have taken up to protein fortification as a part of offering value-added product through higher protein. Protein fortification is not a new area for us. We have been doing it for a very long time. In fact, this bread that I showed there contains about 20% protein as against 8% protein in our regular bread. It is not the protein quantity that is important. Wheat protein, by its own very nature, the protein quality is not that great compared to other legume proteins or soy protein and things like that. Wheat protein, like other cereal proteins, is deficient in certain essential amino acids, particularly lysine, and therefore fortifying with a protein that has got good essential amino acid scores will make a lot of meaning in elevating the protein quality of bread as well, in addition to improving the quantity of protein delivered. A lot of work has been done on protein fortification of bread at CFTRI, Mysore, as well as by our company in Modern Food Industries. And we used to produce in the 1970s bread with 15% protein for the vulnerable sections of children and mothers in the urban areas. And high protein bread today has become popular in consumer markets as well. I know I am running out of time because the time limitations we have. Let me go fast. These are some of the examples of high fiber. The prebiotic fortification of bread. This is an immuno bread concept developed by Modern Foods after Corona. This is another bread that was developed with immunonutrients, particularly compounds that are good for development of immunity like curcumin. So coming to sustainability, which is a very important area for our future development, we have broadly 3 dimensions of sustainability: social, economic, environmental. I know we as a business, baking industry as a business, we are quite conscious of economic sustainability. I'm not going to speak on the first 2, but environmental sustainability is a very important factor that needs to be addressed by baking industries as we go forward with higher production levels, with higher processing of bread-related products. As an example, I have given here 1 metric ton of bread that we produce consumes about 37.5 liters of diesel. And that creates a carbon footprint of 100 kilograms of carbon dioxide. This is 1 metric ton. We produce 3 million metric tons of bakery products in this country. You can imagine the, the quantum of contribution to carbon footprint in terms of our bakery products, enormous for 3 million metric tons. If we translate this figure, it will be in gigatons, not in small tons, but gigatons. So we can control this. We can address this problem. Yeah. So this is the emissions of carbon dioxide in India currently up to starting from 1950 to current. You see how steeply it is going up. And we need to address this as an industry to control and contain the emissions to a level that is permissible, to a level that we are operating at 1950s. Well, the other areas that needs to be addressed in relation to sustainability is the wastage of food in terms of replacements in baking industry, the defective production in baking industry that needs to be controlled so as to protect our environment and contain the sustainability factor. Yeah, yeah. So with this, I conclude to emphasize that our growth has to be rapid, consistent with controlling the sustainability and implement the sustainability factors to control the environment. We have a responsibility to deliver not only health and nutrition to the consumers, but also protect the environment of the consumers, and therefore we need to keep at the back of our mind the importance of sustainability while developing the industry further in the country. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry for taking more time.